Again, even within bhutas, they accept only 4 bhutas because fifth one, Akash, is not perceptible. Only Prithvi, Aap, Tejo, Vayu, these 4 they accept. They don't accept Akash because it is beyond perception. So if your Praman is perception, your reality will be one. Your reality will be in a particular way. It is your ontology. Ontology is study of reality. If your means of knowledge is one, say only Pratyaksh, then the reality you construct out of it will be only one kind. So they consider only matter to be real because matter is perceivable. Mind is not real because mind is not perceivable. I can't perceive your mind, I can only perceive your bodies. And bhutas, only 4 bhutas are real. Fifth one I can't perceive, so it is not real. And no rebirth because I can't perceive rebirth. And hence, their ethics are also defined accordingly. We all know there are these 4 Purusharthas: Dharma, Arth, Kam, Moksha. The idea of Purusharthas is you acquire Arth and Kam. Arth means any wealth. It's not necessarily only money. It can be education, it can be all kinds of things, anything as an Arth. And Kam is any desire. It's not only lust. Any desire to do anything. I want to go out, even that is a Kam. So you acquire your Arth and Kam in a dharmic way to attain moksha. That is the simple equation of these 4 Purusharthas. Now, Charvak people, since they don't accept rebirth, they don't accept moksha because moksha is defined as the cessation of cycle of births and deaths. When I don't even accept rebirth, where is the concept of moksha? I die, that's it, I am not born again. So there is no moksha. So there is no need for dharma. You only acquire artha and kama. That is the best way of living. In fact, they even have slokas like Yavat Jivet Sukham Jive, Ranam Krutva Ghrutam Pibet. As long as you live happily, and you live on ghee even when you are running on debts. You take debts and have ghee. A luxurious life. You live on a luxurious life even by borrowing money from others. It doesn't matter. But that's the best life. You live happily because you have only one life, and that life is a material body. So you go after the pleasures or happiness. Happiness, whatever gives you happiness, just go after that. Why should you be like a sannyasi, torturing yourself, meditation, all these things? Why are you doing all these things? You have only one life. You're wasting time. So the point is, it's not right or wrong. We should not judge that theory as right or wrong by staying outside that theory. If you stay within their system, everything looks perfect. The axioms lead to the pramanas lead to the padarthas, which is ontology, and the padarthas lead to the ethics. It's as simple as that. It's true, if you have only material reality and if your body is only matter, you just try to maximize your material so-called pleasures or happiness. There's nothing wrong in that. It's the ontology which is speaking. It's the perspective of reality which is speaking. So in that sense, our perspective of reality defines everything, defines the kind of thoughts we get, defines the kind of actions we do. So that's the kind of actions they take because their reality is like that, their perspective of reality is like that. So there's nothing wrong or right. If you want, you contradict their basic assumptions, you contradict their basic principles, rather than just saying, no, you can't have these ethics. That's a weak point. That's like hitting at a weak point. You hit at the strongest point. This is problem. There can't be perception as the only means of knowledge. You need inference also. You see, imagine if you have only perception as only means of knowledge, something as simple as, right now, I believe there is nothing behind me because I can't perceive it. There is no board, no nothing. Only when I turn this side, again this will appear. When I turn this side, all of you appear. That's it. If I think there is a board behind me even when I am not looking at it, it means I am using one more means of knowledge, which is inference. But they don't use that. Sorry?
Because it cannot be perceived.
Yeah, because it cannot be perceived. And you are accepting the existence of something which cannot be perceived, which means you are going beyond pratyaksh.
Just a quick doubt. This perception is only visual perception? Or?
No, all touch, all kinds of things. Right now I am neither touching nor smelling, all senses.
And even I have a doubt. This perception is according to what? From where?
My sense organs?
No. You said you need to stand at one point
Yeah,
and then say, if you attend
That's
the
what
word.
this example I'm saying exactly that. No, I'm standing here, I'm looking at you, I'm looking only at you, I'm perceiving nothing from my
So
behind.
what do you call as perception is what I'm asking.
Good. No, we'll deal with it because this will be perception. There's a thing called memory, imagination, action. It's perception to know what sensory organs are. Sensory organs is not
It
one.
is a general term, common term for all.
We'll deal with it.
Okay.
It's a technical term, but right now whatever normal understanding we have, that is enough to understand this example right now.
English word.
English word.
Right.
Whatever I'm perceiving, I'm perceiving through my sensing. Right now I'm sensing through my eyes, ears, nose, etc. Only if I'm able to sense through one of my sense organs that object exists. Right now this understanding is enough to understand Charbak. Technically it's much more. But so I'm saying, if you accept only perception, then the way you engage with reality will be very different. So even if a tiger is running from behind you, you will never believe there is a tiger unless you look at it. But it's very difficult to live such a life actually. So it's a kind of a system. To put it in practice is very difficult. Some people, they take only the nice things which they want and they leave the remaining things. So that is also wrong. If you subscribe fully. You can't be selective about what you can't be, it's like there's something called convenient logic. I will only follow that logic which is convenient to me. That's what.
There's a lot of people following this very conveniently, this particular school of thought.
Yes. It is also called Lokayata because this is very prevalent in the Loka. Another name for Charbak.
I thought you were also talking about when you mentioned perception, I thought you were meaning point of view.
That is there. Every perception involves a point of view, but right now that much detail is not necessary. I mean, right now, yes, when I am perceiving this side, yes, this is my point of view, yes, if you want to put that, yeah. I mean, even not perceiving that, it's not just that I am perceiving but I don't have a point of view there, I am not perceiving it at all.
Right.
So,
So you're not present to that.
Yeah, that is not present to me.
Okay. Darshan Madri.
Yeah, there is no darshan of it to me.
Got it.
Yeah.
so I don't even know what my question is, but I'm just like trying to speak out loud. Like in Christianity and in Islam, there is no concept of rebirth. So their whole idea of being, it's like everything is in this life I have to achieve and then I die.
Yes.
So is that somewhat like this?
No, there is a difference. I mean, the only common point which you mentioned is they don't accept rebirth. That's a different thing. But they don't accept God also. Christianity and Islam accept God.
Yeah.
And they have a faith.
Okay. I understand.
So they have other means of knowledge. If God speaks, that is an unquestionable means of knowledge.
Yes.
So many such differences are there.
Okay.
Only common thing is they don't accept rebirth. That's a different thing.
Okay.
And then Leibniz, who we all know as the celebrated founder of calculus. In fact, Newton and Leibniz founded calculus independently, but it is Leibniz notation which we are using even today. So we know Leibniz mostly as a mathematician and all that, but he was one of the greatest. He was actually a polymath. He was a philosopher, he was a mathematician, he was a scientist. You know, he sort of imagined the first computing machine. He built a small machine which could do 4 calculations. He built the first calculator, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. He envisaged computer. Actually, when people speak of history of computer, they go till Leibniz. So he gave a very interesting, description of reality. He posited something called monads. Monads is a term which has something to do with monos or one. There are many ones. They are all ones because each one of them has nothing to do with the other. In the sense, there is no interaction between any two monads. One way of imagining it is mirrors, web of mirrors, in such a way that every mirror reflects every other mirror except itself. It reflects itself via its reflection in others. Okay? Simple thing is when there are two parallel mirrors, they reflect each other, but somehow imagine there are not just two, there are many, almost infinite. And they are arranged in such a way, it's difficult to visualize, but they are arranged in such a way that every mirror reflects every other mirror in such a way that whatever change happens here is also reflected there. But it is not a causal relation. in any causal relation, there is a distinction between cause and effect. The cause comes first and the effect comes later. But this is not a causal relation because in both the mirrors, change happens at the same time. One description is, it's like there are many clocks. Some clock person has set all clocks to the same time. Now all of them tick in the same way. We may think, or one who is not exposed to how a clock works may think it's because the first clock is ticking that way, the second is ticking, and